She vanished the same day I was going to propose. No phone call, no note at first. Just her toothbrush missing and a half-finished coffee on the table. 2 days later, I found a note in my mailbox. It read, "Don't look for me. I never loved you." I laughed so hard I almost passed out. Then I realized it wasn't a joke. We'd just come back from a weekend trip to Vermont. My girlfriend Tessa was quiet the whole drive home, but I chalked it up to exhaustion. She always got moody after spending time with my family. My mom's the kind of woman who smiles like a shark and judges silently. Tessa hated that. I thought we'd moved past it. The next morning, she kissed me goodbye like always. She wore my hoodie, grabbed her keys, and said, "See you at dinner, babe." Only, she didn't show up. By 7 p.m., I was worried. By 10, I was calling her friends. Her sister hadn't heard from her either. At midnight, I drove around town like a lunatic, checked the hospital, even called the cops. They told me to wait 48 hours, like she was a UPS package, not a person. The next day, I found her car, parked outside her yoga studio, locked, nothing inside, no signs of a struggle. I broke down right there on the sidewalk. I didn't cry. I just sat on the curb, holding my head, waiting for reality to catch up. It didn't. Then 2 days later, the note appeared, folded in half, shoved into my mailbox like junk mail. Tessa's handwriting. No greeting, no explanation. Just, "Don't look for me. I never loved you. I'm sorry." I stood there staring at those words. I wasn't angry. Not yet. I was confused. We lived together for almost 2 years. We had a shared Spotify playlist, a cat named Pickle, and I'd just bought a ring. And she says she never loved me? I told myself it had to be a mistake. Maybe someone forced her to write it. Maybe she was in trouble. So I did exactly what she asked me not to do. I started looking for her. First, I called her job. She hadn't been in. I checked her credit card activity. Nothing. Socials, all deactivated. Her phone, disconnected. It was like someone had hit delete on her entire life. I filed a missing person report. Gave them everything. Photos, texts, voicemails. The police were sympathetic, but I could tell they weren't buying it. "Adults have the right to disappear," one officer said. "Unless there's a crime, our hands are tied." A week passed. Then 2. I stopped going. To work. I couldn't sleep in our bed, so I moved to the couch. Pickle kept scratching the door at 3 a.m. like she expected Tessa to walk in. "Me too, buddy. Me too." Then I made a mistake. I logged into her old email. We shared a Netflix password, and she used the same credentials. It worked, and that's when things stopped making sense. The last email she sent was to someone named Ethan Clark. Subject: "It's done. I'll meet you Thursday." No body text. Just that. Sent 36 hours before she disappeared. Who the hell was Ethan Clark? I ran a search. Found a LinkedIn profile. Marketing executive. Lived in Boston. I stared at his profile picture for a long time. He looked average. Nothing special. Balding. Smug grin. Not the guy you ditch your life for. Or maybe he was. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. So I kept digging. Her location history had been wiped, but she forgot one thing. Her iPad. She used it mostly for reading, but it had. Syncing turned on. I opened Maps. Checked recents. One address stood out. Not the yoga studio. Not her sister's place. A cabin in New Hampshire. The search history said, "How to disappear legally." "Can police find you if you go off-grid?" Fake name generator. My stomach dropped. Was she running from someone? Or from me? I looked up the cabin's listing. It was a short-term rental, remote, no neighbors for miles, so I did what any sane man wouldn't. I packed a bag, got in my truck, and drove straight into the middle of nowhere to find the woman who said she never loved me, but sure. As hell was hiding something? It took me 4 hours and a tank of gas to reach that lonely cabin. The last 20 miles were just forest. Dense trees, no streetlights, a gravel road that rattled my fillings loose. By the time I arrived, the sun was sinking behind the hills, like it had better things to do. There it was. A shabby A-frame, hidden behind a curtain of pine trees. The kind of place horror movies use for the first kill scene. But I wasn't scared. I was angry. Angry. Confused. Exhausted. And underneath it all, hopeful. Yeah, I hated that part of me too. I parked behind a rusted SUV with Massachusetts plates. Was it hers? Or his? I stepped out and looked around. No movement. just the wind in the branches. Then I saw it, her boots, the same brown leather ones she wore on our Vermont trip, sitting by the door, mud on the soles. She was here. I didn't knock. I pushed the door open. It creaked like something out of a haunted house. Inside was dim, musty. A fire had recently burned out in the small stone fireplace. And there she was, Tessa, sitting at the kitchen table with a half-empty bottle of wine and a stack of envelopes. She didn't scream, didn't even look surprised. She just stared at me like I was an overdue bill. "What the hell, Adam?" she said, voice cold. "You weren't supposed to come." I just stood there, speechless, my throat locked up. She looked thinner, pale. Her hair pulled back like she didn't care anymore. But her eyes, they were sharp, calculating. "I thought you said you loved me," I finally choked out. "What is this?" She sighed like I was annoying her. "Told you not to come. You didn't listen. You disappeared. You left a note saying you never loved me. And now you're here, hiding in the woods with a burner car and an email trail. What's going on, Tessa?" That's when I saw it. The open envelope next to her. A check, made out to cash. From a name I didn't recognize. I picked it up. $15,000. "What the hell is this?" She tried to grab it. I pulled away. Then she snapped. "Fine. You want to know everything? Here it is. I left because I had to. Because staying with you meant watching you waste your life on me." "What are you talking about?" My voice was rising now. "I was never going to marry you, Adam. You were safe, boring, comfortable." Ouch. That one landed hard. "And Ethan?" I asked, voice cracking. "He exciting enough for you?" Her face twitched. Just a flash of guilt before the mask came back on. "He's giving me a chance, a new start. Real money, real freedom." My stomach turned. "So you just took off? Took the easy way out?" She laughed. "Easy? You think disappearing is easy? You think it's fun, starting over with nothing but a suitcase and a plan?" "I think stealing is easier than honesty," I snapped. "That hit her." She flinched. "Yeah, I know about the jewelry." Silence. For a moment, I saw something flicker in her eyes. Shame? Panic? Then just like that, it was gone. "That was mine too," she said flatly. "We lived together. You said what's mine is yours. I figured it worked both ways. You stole my mother's legacy." "It was just stuff, Adam." "No, it was her memory, her love, her life." I took a step back, heart pounding in my ears. "You're not the woman I loved." "I never was," she whispered. And just like that, it was over. No screaming, no apology, no tears. She turned back to the table like I'd already left, like I was just a ghost passing through. I walked out, shaky, broken, done, but not stupid. I took photos of the envelopes, the check, her, sitting there with the wine and the lies. Then I got in my truck and drove. I didn't go home. I went straight to a detective I knew from work, Officer Halverson. He looked at the photos, listened to the story, and nodded slowly. "You said she took jewelry?" "Worth over 400 grand, I said. "Mostly heirlooms." His eyebrows hit the ceiling. "She just admitted that she left and took the stuff?" I nodded. "Then we've got something. Give me a couple of days." 2 days later, they raided the cabin. She wasn't there. Gone again, but this time she left something behind. A box. Inside, 6 pieces of my mother's jewelry, wrapped in tissue like she was returning library books. And a note. "I'm sorry. You weren't enough. I'll pay the rest back someday." I didn't cry. Not even a little. I just laughed. Cold, bitter laughter. Because this woman didn't run from love. She ran from guilt, from consequence. But I was done running after her. I didn't hear from her again for 6 weeks. Not a word. No emails, no texts, not even a burner account DM. Just silence. And for a while I let myself believe it was over. The police had the photos, the jewelry, the note she left like some poetic middle finger. Detective Halverson told me they were opening a case. Said it would take time. They always do. Meanwhile, I tried to rebuild, tried being the key word. I went back to work, but my coworkers tiptoed around me like I'd contracted grief. Even Pickle, my damn cat, walked around like he missed her. Some nights I caught myself scrolling through old photos. Tessa laughing at the beach. Tessa in my hoodie making pancakes. Tessa sitting on the porch sipping coffee like the world couldn't touch her. It was like looking at a ghost I didn't know was dead yet. Then came the call. Private number. I hesitated, thumb hovering over decline. I answered. Adam? Her voice was dry, raspy, like she'd smoked a pack a day since vanishing. Tessa, I said, flat. A pause. I heard about the police report. You should have heard about it sooner. I filed it the day after I left the cabin. You didn't have to do that. I laughed, loud, sharp, bitter. You stole from me, lied to me, vanished, and I didn't have to do that? I was scared, she whispered. Of what? Being held accountable? Being seen for who you really are? I never wanted it to end this way. Then you shouldn't have started it this way. She was quiet. I could hear the sound of traffic on her end, horns, city noise, so she wasn't in hiding anymore. What do you want, Tessa? I want a chance to explain, in person, one time, then I'll disappear for good. No, please, no, I repeated. You lost the right to please the moment you emptied my safe. Click. I hung up, but it wasn't over. The next morning, my inbox exploded. Old friends, mutual acquaintances, even my boss got a message, screenshots, posts, tweets, a Reddit thread titled, "My controlling ex is trying to ruin my life." It was her. The handle was new, but the writing was vintage Tessa. She painted me as the monster, said I'd threatened her, accused her, trapped her in a golden cage of expectations and guilt. And the comments? Oh my God, girl, I'm so sorry. Typical narcissist male behavior. Protect yourself, queen. I was furious. She hadn't just stolen from me. Now she was trying to steal the truth. And for a minute, it worked. A few mutuals unfollowed me. One of my friends from college messaged me, "Hey man, what's going on with Tessa? She's saying some wild stuff." I didn't answer him. I called Halverson instead. Is this online stuff going to affect the case? There was a pause. It could, if it escalates. But you documenting it helps. Keep records, screenshots, and stay off the battlefield. Don't respond. So I didn't. I watched, waited, collected. Then came the subpoena. Not for her. For me. A letter. From her lawyer. She'd lawyered up. They were trying to paint this as a domestic dispute gone wrong. That I'd weaponized the legal system to punish her. That I was the jilted ex trying to ruin her life because I couldn't accept rejection. The audacity. They requested mediation. I declined. Then I did what I should have done weeks ago. I hired my lawyer. Her name was Natalie Kane, mid-40s, all business. Wore suits like armor and smiled like a wolf with a full belly. I gave her everything. The emails, the note, the photos, the voice recordings. She read the police report, raised her eyebrows, and said, "Oh, sweetheart, she picked the wrong guy to frame." From that moment on, I stopped playing defense. Natalie sent a formal cease and desist to Tessa's legal team. She filed a defamation claim. She contacted Reddit, Twitter, and every platform where Tessa had posted her melodramatic fiction and flagged the content for legal review. We weren't just building a theft case anymore. We were building a war chest. Natalie even pulled bank records showing that 2 days before Tessa fled, she'd tried to wire $20,000 from my joint savings account to an anonymous crypto wallet. She failed, thank God the bank flagged it, but the attempt alone screamed premeditation. "This isn't a jilted lover," Natalie said. "This is calculated fraud." By week 3, her narrative started to crumble. The posts got quieter. The supporters backed off. A few even deleted their comments when confronted with the facts Natalie released to my defense site. That's right. We made a site. Tessa went from victim to villain in 48 hours. But the best part? A tip came in. Anonymous email. Attached was a photo of Tessa, wearing my mother's missing necklace, laughing, arm in arm with some smug-faced man. I didn't recognize. It was dated, geotagged, and it was taken last week. Natalie smiled when she saw it. "Perfect," she said. "Let's make her famous." We posted the photo the next day. No caption. Just her face, the necklace, and the timestamp. It exploded. Her little Reddit pity parade, gone in a puff of digital smoke. The girl crying abuse was now grinning on someone's balcony in Miami, wearing stolen heirlooms like costume jewelry. The comment section flipped like a switch. "Wait, isn't that the necklace she said wasn't his?" I defended her, man. I feel so dumb. "She's wearing $50K on her chest but plays the victim?" The internet is cruel. And for once, it worked in my favor. Natalie didn't stop there. She reached out to the Miami PD, sent them the case files, the warrant from our county, and a polite little note suggesting they might be harboring a suspect in an open theft investigation. 3 days later, my phone rang. It was Detective Halverson. He sounded smug. "She's in custody." "What? Where?" "Miami-Dade." She didn't even try to run. Of course she didn't, because Tessa never believed the consequences were real. She thought guilt was negotiable, that her version of the truth would win out if she said it with enough conviction. But this time, the truth came with handcuffs. They found her at a rooftop bar, wearing my mother's necklace, again. Same smug-faced guy beside her, apparently named Jordan, apparently rich, apparently clueless. They took her in without a fight. She tried to talk her way out of it, claimed the jewelry was a breakup gift. The Miami officer said, "Ma'am, breakup gifts don't come with felony charges." She was extradited back to our county within a week. Her lawyer, a new one now, the first probably quit, filed for bail, denied flight risk. Natalie and I watched the hearing online. Tessa looked different, not sad, not broken, just inconvenienced, like she'd gotten a parking ticket on her way to brunch. When the judge read the list of charges, grand larceny, attempted wire fraud, defamation, her expression didn't change, but I saw her hands. They trembled. The arraignment lasted 20 minutes. Then they took her back into holding. Natalie turned to me and said, "Now we go for the throat." I didn't even ask what she meant. The civil case was filed next. $275,000. The appraised value of the unrecovered jewelry, plus damages, lost wages, emotional distress, legal fees, everything. Her parents tried to call me. Twice blocked Jordan. Messaged me on Facebook. Yep, he found me, and asked if I'd consider backing off. He said, "She's not a bad person, man. She just got scared. Scared people don't wire money to crypto accounts. Scared people don't smear reputations online. Scared people don't steal dead mothers' diamonds to impress their next rich boyfriend." I didn't respond. Instead, Natalie sent Jordan's message directly to the DA. A week later, Tessa tried calling me from jail. I let it go to voicemail. "Adam, I don't know what to say. I never meant to hurt you. I panicked. I was drowning and I didn't know how to ask for help. Please, just drop the lawsuit. I'll do the time, okay? Just let me start over after this. Please." I listened to it 3 times. Then I forwarded it to Natalie. She added it to the case file under attempted manipulation. By now, the trial was set for 6 weeks out. The DA wasn't budging. They had a mountain of evidence. She had a threadbare sob story and a pile of contradictions. Meanwhile, I started sleeping better. It was strange. The deeper she sank, the more I floated. Like every lie she told pulled her down further and lifted me out of the wreckage. Then came the twist I didn't expect. I got a call from a woman named Maya. She said she was Tessa's old roommate from college. "I saw the story online," she said. "I know this is random, but she did this before." I froze. "What do you mean?" "In senior year, she took our landlord's emergency fund, claimed it was her tuition. We found out when the guy nearly lost his property. She left town before anyone could press charges." "Why didn't anyone report her?" "She was charming. Manipulative. Played the mental health card. Everyone let it go, but I shouldn't have." Maya sent me a signed statement. Natalie beamed. "This is a pattern. It's not a mistake. It's a lifestyle. And now the judge would see that too." 2 weeks before trial, her new lawyer reached out. They wanted a deal. Plead guilty to 1 felony count. Pay restitution over time. Drop the defamation suit. No jail, just probation. I said, no. Natalie said, "We want time. We want conviction. We want every shred of this to follow her forever. This wasn't revenge anymore. It was justice. I didn't just want her to lose. I wanted her to understand for once in her silver-tongued, truth-twisting life that people are not pawns, that you don't burn someone's world down and expect to walk away with the ashes. She wasn't just facing me anymore. She was facing everyone she'd ever fooled. And this time, the truth had teeth. The courthouse smelled like bleach and bureaucracy. I sat outside the courtroom, suit pressed, nerves taut, hands clenched around a paper cup of burnt vending machine coffee. Tessa walked in like it was a dentist appointment. No handcuffs, no jumpsuit. She'd been granted a civilian outfit, beige blazer, soft makeup, hair tied back like some repentant executive. But she couldn't hide the bags under her eyes, or the tremble in her lip when she saw me. She didn't nod, didn't speak. Good. Natalie leaned over and whispered, "Stay silent. Let her hang herself." Inside, the courtroom buzzed low like a charging storm. Tessa's lawyer began with a long, syrupy monologue about a troubled young woman, emotional distress, and a relationship breakdown that spiraled. It was all theater. Then the prosecution stood, clean, precise. They laid out every lie, every theft, every email, screenshot, check, and recording. The note, "Don't look for me. I never loved you." The jewelry. The wire transfer attempt. The Reddit posts claiming abuse, and the photos proving otherwise. They even played the voicemail. "Please, just drop the lawsuit. I'll do the time." Tessa squirmed in her seat. Her lawyer looked like he regretted every life choice that led him here. Then they called me up. I didn't shake, didn't rage. I spoke calmly, clearly, with years of love and betrayal condensed into 5 minutes of truth. "She didn't just steal jewelry," I said. "She stole trust, family history, and my peace." I ended with one line. "I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, but I absolutely believe she deserves everything coming." I walked back to my seat. I didn't look at her. She testified. "Next," she cried, sniffled, said she felt cornered in the relationship, that she acted out of fear, but this time no one bought it. The DA shredded her cross-exam like paper. "You feared being loved? You feared being supported? Or you feared getting caught?" Silence. She tried again. "I just wanted to start over." "With stolen heirlooms in a beachfront condo?" Silence again. I watched the jury's eyes narrow. Saw sympathy melt into calculation. This wasn't a woman in crisis. This was a con artist who finally got caught. When it was over, the room held its breath. The verdict came quickly. Guilty of theft, of attempted fraud, of defamation. 3 felonies, 2 misdemeanors. Her face dropped like a curtain. She turned to her lawyer. "No rescue. No last-minute miracle. Just a sentencing date and the whisper of steel closing around her world." Sentencing day was cold. Not winter cold, courtroom cold. That dry, sterile chill that sinks into your bones and makes everything feel final. Tessa sat at the defense table like she'd aged 5 years in a month. No makeup this time. No polished act. Just a pale, quiet shell of the woman who once told me I was safe and boring. Now she looked like she wanted safety more than anything. Her lawyer made one last attempt. He begged for leniency, said she was a first-time offender, claimed the humiliation was punishment enough. Then it was my turn. I stood up, cleared my throat. "I don't want vengeance," I said. "This isn't about hate. It's about accountability. You don't get to destroy someone's past and walk into someone else's future like it never happened." The judge nodded slowly. Then he read the sentence. 3 years, state prison, full restitution, probation after, permanent. Felony record, gasps from her side of the room. Her mother sobbed. Tessa didn't move, just stared straight ahead like she'd unplugged from her own body. When the bailiff cuffed her, she flinched, just slightly, and then walked out without looking back. That was it. No grand speech. No dramatic breakdown. Just steel cuffs and silence. I walked out of that courtroom into the sunlight feeling 10 pounds lighter. And then came the fallout. The Reddit posts were deleted. The fake stories vanished. She was scrubbed from every online platform. She'd poisoned. Natalie made sure of that. The jewelry? The remaining pieces were returned to me in a sealed evidence bag. Some were too damaged. Others, tainted by the memory. I sold them. Donated the money to a women's shelter in my mom's name. Felt right, her. Parents tried one more time. A letter this time. Handwritten. "Please don't sue us. We didn't know what she was doing." I didn't answer. I just passed it to Natalie, who filed it. Let them feel what it's like when your name gets used without consent. As for Jordan, he disappeared. Guess dating a felon didn't match the vibe. He was curating on Instagram. Months passed. My apartment got quieter, but in a good way this time. I replaced the couch she picked, tossed the mugs she bought, even repainted the bedroom. Fresh start. One night I found a photo of my mom. She was smiling, holding the jewelry box I'd recovered. That was the moment I finally cried. Not for Tessa, for what I'd almost lost, and what I'd managed to protect. A legacy. My sanity. My damn soul. The best part? I got a letter 6 months later. From Tessa. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. I burned it, along with every photo, every card, every trace of her that hadn't already been destroyed by truth and fire. Because the real revenge was living free. She tried to wreck me, to rewrite my story as her tragedy. But I survived, I thrived. And she's now a cautionary tale, buried in court records and forgotten forums. Somewhere behind prison walls, she's probably still telling herself a version where she was the victim. But the rest of us, we know better. I walked through hell, and I came back swinging. And here it is, the finale of today's story. Did everything turn out as you imagined, or did it end unexpectedly? I'd love to hear what you think. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's dive into the discussion together. If this story kept you in suspense, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? This is your chance to join an incredible community where exciting new stories unfold every day. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date. Thanks for your attention and see you on your new adventures.